Hello and welcome to another review from Colour with Claire. Today I'm reviewing the Disney Dreams collection, original art by Thomas Kinkade colouring book. So Thomas Kinkade was a very acclaimed illustrator and artist from the US. Unfortunately he's no longer with us, he passed away in 2012. But he left behind an absolutely amazing collection of artwork, landscapes, portraits and just some beautiful paintings. He collaborated with Disney a few times, and this is the colouring book of his Disney paintings rendered as line art for you to colour. So first of all, the book itself. So there's 128 pages in the book, so it's not a small book, it's quite thick, it's nice and thick. It is one-sided, but as you'll see, there is something on the reverse side as well. The dimensions of the book are just over 18 centimetres by 24 centimetres. So it isn't A4, it's smaller and it has these rounded edges. So it feels a bit more like a journal or a notebook in the size and format of it. So the front here is this plastic coated card with a glossy section in the middle for the title, and on the back there's also the same, that glossy section with the plastic coated card. So it looks really nice. As we open, we have the cover again here, and we're straight into the illustrations. So there's no sort of auxiliary pages or copyright pages at the start or anything like that. So you're straight into illustrations. Now, as I said, it is one-sided. But you can see that on the reverse side, on the left side of each page, is a print of Thomas's original painting. So you can either take reference from this in your colour scheme, use it, as inspiration for colours, or you can just admire that and then do this exactly how you want to do it in your own colours. So you could make it look completely different. You could do like a Halloween version of this to sit next to the original sort of cute version. It's totally up to you how you do this. But at the bottom of every painting, you'll see the name of either the characters or the film which it's come from. And there are lots and lots of different Disney films featured in this book. So I'm just going to go through it and have a bit of a chat about the different pages. So we've got Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And then here's the one that I've completed. This is from The Little Mermaid 2. I did this with Prismacolor pencils and a blender. And I worked really hard on the foreground. I really wanted to get that impression of the reflective water, and I wanted to make sure that I did sort of the cheekbones and the highlights and shadows and hollows of the faces as detailed as I could, with it being quite a small area. On this background section here, I did that really quickly, and I'm not pleased with that at all. I wanted to achieve the sort of hazy, non-detailed look of Thomas's background, and it just went all wrong. So if I could just crop that to there, I'd be super happy with that. But really happy with the way that the water turned out, and the reflections and things like that. So yeah, really enjoyed doing that. So we have Beauty and the Beast, and I should mention that the line drawings on the right hand side have really been done really well. You'll see some books on the market which are drawings taken from a piece of artwork like this, but the line art is just not suitable for colouring. It's not been rendered properly. There might be some very sketchy lines, and it's not great. But these have been converted very well. Now, clearly, with this being painting, there will be areas that aren't defined enough to convert to something that you can colour. So, for example, these speckles of flowers, they're not clear flower shapes. But they've tried to make them into spaces that you can fill. On some areas, it's quite difficult because they're just so small. But if you just go over it sort of in dots, or just to try and do it quite quickly to give the impression that there's a flower bush there, if that makes sense, rather than working individually on each flower as you might do on a normal colouring page. So the paper itself, it's not thin, but it's certainly not thick either. It sort of reminds me of like a moleskin notebook. So it's not thin or transparent in any way, but it's not incredibly thick either. So it's absolutely fine if you don't mind the back of the pages maybe getting a bit of shadowing or bleed. Obviously put some paper in there to protect your illustrations. But yeah, it's not too bad at all actually. There is a nice soft tooth to the surface of the paper. It's absolutely bright white. It's not a vintage cream or anything. And all the lines are, you know, spot on, as in there's no stuttering of the lines or, you know, sketchiness to them. They're quite precise, the lines. So as you can see, some pictures have a lot more details than others. So there will be some illustrations where you really have to get in there with your very, very sharp pencils or your fine liners. But for the most part, it is quite a zoomed in, large space illustration on most of them. So there will be areas that you sort of have to work in smaller detail with, but for the most part each illustration is quite large and in the foreground. So Lady and the Tramp, we've got Alice in Wonderland, Winnie the Pooh 2, Jungle Book. We've even got Tangled, one of the more recent Disney films. So as you can see, lots and lots of different illustrations to get through. And if you're a Disney fan and a colouring fan, this is just an absolutely incredible gift to yourself or to someone else. You know, because not only do you have these beautiful Disney illustrations, but you also have the original prints to reference to as well. And it really just is, it's just a beautiful book, to be honest. Before anything else, it's been done in a really nice professional way. So you've got this centered image and then you've got the image to face it rather than having the image on the back. So you can be colouring this and instantly reference, which is really easy. So the book is currently selling on Amazon for just under £10 in the UK and just over $10 in the US. It's also on the Book Depository. I'll be leaving links in the description to buy. So it's widely available. Thomas has a couple of other colouring books of his painting collections which are available as well by the same publisher in exactly the same format. I'll be reviewing one of those shortly as well. So if you are a fan of Thomas's work, maybe you don't want the Disney ones, you want the more realistic landscapes and things, there are other Thomas Kinkade colouring books available for you. So we've come to the end of the book. We've just got a bit of an advert from the publishers here and that copyright information there. So that is the book. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you're a Disney fan, it's a no-brainer. You won't find any similar quality Disney art to colour anywhere, I don't think. This is sort of the pinnacle. So if you've enjoyed this review, please leave me a comment, please click the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.